For the first time since 2017, you could say the Chicago Cubs won a playoff game. Go Cubs.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Cubs defeated the Padres 3-1 on Tuesday to take a 1-0 lead in the wild card series at Wrigley Field. Man, that sounds good to say. First postseason win for the Cubs since 2017. An absolutely amazing start to the playoffs for our favorite team. Great baseball, great atmosphere, and as the sport changes in the playoffs, like we've detailed the last couple of episodes, now you're dealing from a major position of strength going up 1-0, Sam, in a 3-game series.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with, I thought Matthew Boyd really did exactly what I hoped and thought that he would do. He battled. It wasn't a pretty performance by any means. I wouldn't even say that he was overly sharp, but he battled. And credit to Counsell for getting him out when he needed to get him out. And then Daniel Palencia, who about 2-3 weeks ago wasn't even on the postseason radar, gets 5 massive outs. That goes to Pomerantz. Huge story there over Thielbar. And guess what? It was the right button. And then Kittredge to Keller. Or do you want to go with the fact that Seiya Suzuki, I want a ticket on that roller coaster, and maybe it'll go all the way through October. Because after not doing anything for 2 months, he has now hit 6 home runs in 5 games. And he just hit the biggest home run of his life. Or do you want to discuss Kelly going after him? Or the 2 guys that I thought were the difference in the game, the guys up the middle, Nico Hoerner and Dansby Swanson. Hoerner with 2 big base hits. And then, of course, the sac fly. And I thought Swanson was outstanding today. Yes, he gets the big base hit and comes around and scores. Defensively, I thought he saved 2 runs. It was an October performance, Matt. It's late September, but it was an October performance. That's how you win. Outside of the no-hat bunt fiasco, they did exactly what they needed to do to win an October baseball game. How many months have we talked about it? Wind blowing in, low scoring, find a way to win a baseball game. 1-0 Chicago.
All right, let's go offense to pitching to defense. Then there's a couple questions to go over. We're going to preview Wednesday, go over a couple things with the wild card roster as well. I thought Nick Pivetta executed a really simple plan early. Mm-hmm. Mostly fastballs, and the Cubs they love chasing vertical. They love chasing vertical velo, and they just swing and miss. Pivetta in only 5 innings struck out 9 guys. The Cubs really struck out 12 times in this game. They walked once, and it was intentional. But for Seiya and Carson Kelly to connect like that in the 5th with a pair of solo homers, plus good baseball in the 8th to manufacture a run, those are the major highlights. Because you could have won the game 2-1 just on the homers. Mm-hmm. It was exciting, got the place fired up. But to see them respond in that fashion in the 8th after they didn't execute an opportunity in the 6th inning, I thought was really good to see. In 100%. The 8th, you have, because in the 1st and 2nd, no outs in the 6th, Happ grounded a double play. Maybe he should have bunted, but we could really talk later, Sam, about more of the lineup construction.
Yeah.
Then Tucker went F8. But, man, on 2nd and 1 out in the 8th, 1st and 2nd, they advanced 90 feet on the wild pitch after the Swanson single, Shaw sacrifice bunt, Bush intentional walk. Mm-hmm. And then Hoerner puts the ball in play. It's 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. And we saw it with the Tigers-Guardians game. I thought you were right the last couple of days with hinting at the score prediction. This is going to be the score, and it's probably going to be the same way Wednesday. But for the Cubs to prove that they could win a game like this, it's critical. It really is.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I thought early, it felt like Pivetta, when I was doing the watch along, which, we might have to ban because they never score, but I was feeling real good about my calls on the watch along because the first time through was all high chase, high chase, high chase. Then he mixed in a lot more of his breaking stuff. I thought he had a really good plan. And ironically, the first time, if you go back and watch the first at bat with Seiya, he missed. He missed down the middle and Seiya missed it. And then he missed again to Seiya, and he didn't miss it again. And that just felt like it changed the game. Kelly Homer was on a pitch actually up and out of the zone.
Yeah, it was a ball.
Yeah, and so that was just a really good piece of hitting, really good adjustment. And, you've said it all year, when Boyd or Shota pitch and the wind is blowing in and they're playing at home, 3's the magic number. And
now they're 18-3.
And they were able to get 3 runs. Like I said, it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't always pretty, but they got it done. Like 3 is a lot more than 1. It's a lot more than 0, which is what we saw in 18 and 20. And, they did enough. And to be honest with you, it was the suspects outside of, nobody could have expected this from Seiya out of nowhere. But 2 for 3 with Nico. That's the guy. And immediately, when those runners reached second and third, you had to mark your scorebook that a run was coming in. That's what he's there to do. There's 903 people with us live, Matt, and that's what Nico Hoerner is there to do. Put the ball in play, runner on third, less than 2 outs. And then you got a couple big swings, couple homers. It was kind of a best of both worlds. And I thought I would describe it as just enough offensively.
Yeah, it was. And I'd like to follow up a little bit on, would you like to follow up on the lineup, or just situationally, is it a stretch to ask for Happ to bunt in the 6th inning, just to be thorough before we get to the pitching side?
So here's why they didn't. So let's start with there. Here's why they didn't. If he bunts and it's successful, it's second and third, 1 out, right? They're going to walk Tucker, bases loaded, 1 out, and then Miller's coming in. And so Miller's going to see Suzuki and Kelly, and we saw what Miller did to Suzuki and Kelly. So that's the case against it. I was for it more so because Happ, as a right-handed hitter, hits the ball on the ground a ton. And so it just felt like that was what was going to happen. And, whatever. And I would have liked to see Mason Miller then in a little bit earlier, so it helps. I just think going forward, now I get it, Tucker doesn't look himself, but as we know, this stuff changes quickly. I just feel more comfortable with his bat to ball skills with him third instead of Happ. It's just weird to put Happ there. But the counterpoint is who have you moved down? Seiya. And ever since Seiya's moved out of the 5 hole, he is hitting at a level. He makes righty Mickey Mantle jealous with the way that he's hitting right now. 6 home runs in 5 games. This is crazy.
He's on a fantastic ride. You need that type of performance if you want to dream.
100%. And you know what? Like, we always talk about Seiya, as an enigma. And I think that gets categorized a lot as a negative thing, but it's not a negative thing. It just means I don't know how to figure this guy out.
There's a lot of waves to his year.
He might hit 3 homers tomorrow, or he might not get another hit the rest of the playoffs. I don't know, but I'm here for it.
Boyd got the early hook. The bullpen was perfect, and we preview game 2 right after this.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I've used Game Time for every Cub game that I've been to. It's the best. You get tickets right away. You could literally wait up to first pitch. The prices go down. Fees are included. Know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDOMLB. For $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought, like I identified, because all I do is spend money on food delivery services instead of driving the 7 minutes to go get the food. That stuff starts to add up. Maximizing investments, increasing your savings rate, easily reviewing finances with your partner and or advisor, keeping a clear view of your financial health week to week. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
Shout out to the everydayers, and you could become a Locked On Cubs everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week. And if this is your first time here, that makes sense. After a huge win, first postseason win for the Cubs since 2017. But we're here 5 days a week, basically the whole year, save for some winter time, January, February. But please stay with us all postseason long. All right, Matthew Boyd. So Craig Counsell did the thing with Matthew Boyd that I've always floated out there. You face your 18 guys, you go put the gym shoes on, and that's exactly what happened on Tuesday.
Well,
Boyd
did you see him? Did you see him put on his gym shoes?
I should have.
Okay.
He missed one of his laces, but yeah, he got pulled in the fifth. Only faced the 18 guys exactly 2 times through, but it worked. Let's keep it there for now, Sam.
Yeah.
I thought Boyd got behind in the count a little too often, but he minimized the damage. Obviously, that proved to be monumental as the game went along, and they held him to 1 run. But there was a few situations that were big. The one early, man on third, less than 2 outs, they didn't score. First and third, 1 out, they didn't score. So he was able to limit the damage, and clearly Counsell had a plan after that.
I thought the key to the game, we talked about yesterday, and I talked about, with Javier, the Padres struggle. The Padres struggle a little bit with lefties, and how crucial the Ramon Laureano absence was, Matt. You felt it today because you talked about, I thought the key part of this game was in the second inning. Second and the fourth.
Wow.
Second and the fourth. So both times, though. You're right.
Okay, yeah.
Second inning, it was 1-0 Padres, and they already had a man on a man on third, nobody out, right?
Yeah.
And then guess what pocket got Boyd out of it? 3 straight lefties: O'Hearn, Sheets, Cronenworth. And then in the fourth inning, first and third, 1 out, same pocket. It was O'Hearn, and then it was Sheets, right? And so I was a little bit surprised that Schilt, we always talk about lineup construction on the show, typically in those winter days that you mentioned. And we make lineups a little bit different because you like to go right, left for that exact reason. And I thought that was really critical. And I thought, Boyd, like I said, I think you hit it on the nose. I wouldn't say that he pitched great, but considering everything, the results were great. And he did what I thought he was going to do, which was battle and put together a really solid effort on a really big stage. And I think he was aided by the fact that in the biggest spots of the game, he got to see left-on-left guys that typically don't feel comfortable hitting left-on-left. And the real only bad mistake that led to a run was he just made threw a two-strike fastball to Bogarts right down the middle with a guy on second. So credit to Matthew Boyd, credit to Craig Counsell, because it's not a popular decision. And I'm one of those guys that doesn't love to see pitchers get pulled early, but it was extremely appropriate today, and it worked out.
The bullpen didn't allow a base runner. 4 2/3 innings.
Wow.
Palencia 5 outs, and then a trio of Pomerantz, Kittredge, and Keller all got 3 outs in their outing. The bullpen has been a steady presence basically from Jump Street, but definitely since I remember them taking a turn mid to late April. It was actually right around when Pomerantz was acquired.
Right.
Mid to late April, they turned on the Jets. They had a patch, I want to say, around the All-Star break. Maybe I think it was actually just prior or just after. I don't remember which. That they was a little turbulent, but okay. So what is that? 20-ish games where, they maybe had some trouble. Maybe it was less. We saw the recipe of a great Cubs team today, and I thought one of that was just the steady bullpen. A resurgence throughout the year, and it just continued today. And they were so pitch efficient. They attacked guys. They didn't waste a lot of pitches. They did their jobs. As I'm trying to build out my outline, I more or less am missing some plate appearances because it's that fast. Especially Kittredge. The guy is an animal.
Yeah.
Quick. When was the last time Kittredge threw more than 20 pitches in a frame? Someone look that up.
I think it's such a funny lesson because the bullpen was awful the first 3 weeks of the year. I mean, right. You had the debacle in Arizona with Eli Morgan and that whole situation. Then it went to be, okay, we're really worried about Presley, then Hodge, then Presley. It really wasn't until mid-year where it stabilized completely. And look at the names. If I were to tell you March 15th, hey, we're going to close a playoff game, game 1 against the Padres. Here's going to be the relievers in order. Palencia, all right, I guess I could see that.
But he started the year in AAA. Started the year in
AAA. Pomerantz
started the year in AAA for the Mariners.
Kittredge
was on the Orioles.
Brad Keller,
spring training invite as a starter. Then they turned him into a reliever.
Exactly. So and a non-roster invitee.
Right. That's right.
And so the point is with these relievers. Now some teams, the Padres knew Suarez was going to get the 9th or whatever. But this bullpen thing, it's almost like you just kind of have to let Jed do his thing. Now, I've been picky over the years, and I still will be. I wish they could do it a little bit faster. I don't know why it always has to take so long every year. But this group, they've really settled in on, and Thielbar is also a part of it. It's just, I guess he struggled lately and got demoted. And again, you got to give Counsell credit there. I mean, he pushed outside of the Hap thing, which you could go back and forth on. He pushed all the right buttons today, pitching wise. And, it's just funny. These are the guys. It's just, it's how it works in baseball now. You just don't know.
So Palencia will be down on Wednesday, but Thielbar, Pomerantz, Kittredge, Keller should all be available.
I wouldn't be so sure that Palencia is down.
Okay. Maybe they squeeze him in to do the 1 out to finish an inning.
If they're winning, yeah.
What is really interesting, but again, they didn't throw that many pitches, but still they appeared in the game, is you had Morahone, Miller, Estrada appear in a loss.
Great points.
And keep doing that. Keep having the good relievers appear in losses.
Yep.
Okay.
They just didn't throw a lot of pitches.
But fantastic plan from Council. And the Cubs can wrap this thing up on Wednesday. We preview Game 2 and more next.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app, folks. The Cubs open as minus 126 favorites on FanDuel. Matt talked about how important Game 1 is. 126 for the series, that is. You want to know what it is right now? Cubbies minus 410.
Go Cubs.
To go up to Milwaukee and face the Brewers. If you think a boxing analogy is coming, you know it is. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs. That way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you. Hit subscribe if you're on Apple or Spotify right now. We're in your ears. Perhaps you're going for an evening walk right now. You're driving to work, and then on YouTube as well. All right, Shota Imanaga and Dylan Cease, although Sam, double check the internet machine for any
I'll do that for you.
There is a possibility that they open for Imanaga. Let's get to that in a minute or two. Cease has a career 2.47 ERA in 8 starts against the Northsiders. On the road this season, though, this is on the road, right? I know he's good against the Cubs, but on the road, which he'll be starting on the road on Wednesday, he has an ERA of 5.58. Really, the whole year he's had mixed results, but his stuff is still one of the best in baseball. And the Cubs just have not done well against him over the years. And he's a free agent to be. You could make a claim that has some incentive there as well. Imanaga might have an opener, 12 homers allowed in his last 6 starts, period in which he's posted a 5.97 ERA. Woof. 3.73 for the year. I think Colin Ray would be a great option. I think if they really flex their creative muscle, Colin Ray could even go one time through the order. But I think a cleaner version would be Shota coming out the top of the second. Sam, thoughts on an opener first, and then we'll get to the path to victory against Cease and otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think so. I would just let Shota go. I feel very similar to Shota as I do about Boyd. I trust these guys in a big moment. It's going to be a little bit cooler, a little less sun tomorrow. I would assume really similar conditions. Let me jump real quick on FanDuel and just see if I can catch it over under on that yet.
It's probably 7. I'm going to guess 7.5.
And if that's the case,
6.5 actually. I'm going to say 6.5.
And you're spot on. It's 6.5. So if that's going to be the over under, that means I let Shota go.
Okay.
Let Shota go. See what happens. I believe in this guy, just very similar to how I believe in Matt Boyd. Now that doesn't mean he's going to be great, but I really have a hard time seeing him just completely let this thing go off the rails. And I would do something very similar to what you did today. 18 outs and go there. And yes, the implied risk would be, well, what if it's tied or something and you use Palencia, Kittredge, Keller back-to-back days? This is the postseason, right? So you're going to use them 3 straight days. They're probably going to use Morahone and Miller 3 straight days if you get beat.
Absolutely.
So it is what it is. I think Shota's going to pitch well tomorrow, and I would let him start the game and show us what he can do. And as far as Cease goes, this is a game where I'd get real crazy a little bit. Just because.
What does that mean?
It just means you're up 1-0. I think Cease isn't very comfortable throwing the bases and things like that. And he's a really tough guy to hit. He's gonna rack up his strikeouts. But man, bunt, steal, that type of game. I think you could really mess with him a little bit. And, you're kind of house money's not the right word in a best of three, but you definitely have less pressure tomorrow. And when you have less pressure, you could be a little bit more aggressive. You could be a little bit more aggressive on the base paths. You could be a little bit more aggressive with certain situations. And I think the path to victory against Cease, maybe we hit a couple long balls again, but really make him work. And when you get on base, just toy with him a little bit and see if you could just get him to maybe throw one into right center field or down the right field line, and all of a sudden you get yourself in trouble, or he gets himself in trouble. So we'll see. I'm very confident, and I'm ready to roll.
Well, what if I broke the news to you on the show and told you that you're going to be solo after this game?
You're going tomorrow?
Yeah, I that's a done deal, especially selfishly after the win.
Okay. All right. Hey, man, I'm happy for you.
My dad invited me. I told him, can I give you 21-hour notice, selfishly waiting for this result. I don't think any of us are thrilled about the commute either, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to figure out a way to be there, and I'll be there with my dad. Sam will be right here after the game covering all things Cubs Padres. A few more notes. Swanson, great defensively. Horner, great defensively. Pete continues to make it look easy in center field as the weather messed with some balls in the air today. I thought Kelly.
I thought Pete really had command in center field today, because I got to tell you, there are a couple balls in right that it felt like Seiya really didn't have a good beat on at all. Did you see that at all?
Yes.
And then Pete kind of just saved the day and called him off, which was
and
really
one for
nice.
Happ too, but he was by himself.
Yeah, right. So I thought defensively the Cubs really did a good job today outside of that ball, which they gave an error to Pete on that throw. That's Nico's error. Nico needs to keep that ball in front of him and not try and tag a guy that was clearly going to be safe. But it was a very clean game for the most part. And man, I hope you get to see, I've never seen a playoff game where the Cubs have clinched ever. And I mean, there's not many of them, right? It's 15. It's 15 against the Cardinals. It's 16 against the Dodgers, and that's it. So,
the only playoff game I was at, and I think you might have been at this too, or your dad was, that Manny Ramirez hit like a homer with the ball was at his shin. He hit a home run.
I think that was game 2. I was at
Cubs,
game 1.
Dodgers. What was that? 07 or 08?
08.
Yeah,
my Cubs playoff record, I was 2-0 in 03, and then I lost in 08. So that's 2-1, and I haven't been back since, because I refused to go game 3, 07 against the D-backs. My dad, we had season tickets. I refused to go.
That's what it was. That's what I'm remembering.
I refused to go. I didn't want to go. I knew that they were going to lose, and I didn't want to go. It was the same afternoon where I believe my Illini football team upset the Badgers in football. It was the Rose Bowl year. I was feeling real good about that, and I did not want to go watch us get swept by a Diamondbacks team. And so my dad went, and it was about 90 degrees, and watched us get beat at home. So, yeah, man, enjoy it, and I'll make sure I'm ready to rock and roll tomorrow.
The wild card roster was released at 10 a.m. Tuesday. Based on my final projection the other day, there weren't any surprises, but because Javier Assad threw 79 pitches on Sunday, I don't think I realized it was that many. Aaron Savali did get that final bullpen spot instead of Assad, and Kevin Alcantara did get the final position spot as Billy Hamilton remains over at Murphy's Bleachers or wherever they're stashing him, just in case. A couple other notes, Sam, before we get out of here. Love the Rizzo hype video released Monday night that he narrated.
All the hype stuff was amazing.
It's amazing. And ESPN showed Go Cubs Go after that win. I thought that was a nice touch as well.
Yeah, ABC, just a little bit better camera angle on the grounders to third.
Got it. This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For your second listen, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. A playoff win for the Cubs. Man, it's fun to do the show with that being said. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.